What if I told you you could become a millionaire in Vietnam in less than 10 seconds? No business, no investment, no luck. Just exchange $100. So why does this currency have so many zeros? These zeros aren't random. They are the result of war, economic collapse, and one of the most extreme inflation periods in modern history. And to understand them, we have to go back to the very beginning. (1945). Vietnam declares independence. And for the first time, it introduces its own currency, the Vietnamese dong. At that moment, money wasn't just money. It was identity. It was control. It was survival. But soon, the country split in two: North Vietnam, South Vietnam. Two governments, two economies, two different currencies. And when a country is divided, its money becomes unstable. (1975). The war ends. Vietnam becomes one country again. But unifying a nation is much easier than fixing an economy. Imagine merging two completely different financial systems overnight. In 1978 and again in 1985, Vietnam tried to reset its currency. Old money was replaced. New money was issued. But there was one fatal problem. There wasn't enough stuff to buy. Too much money. chasing too few goods. That's how inflation begins. But in Vietnam, it didn't just begin. It exploded. Prices rose every week, then every day. In some periods, inflation reached hundreds of percent. People rushed to spend their salaries immediately because tomorrow it might be worth less. This is the moment when money stops being money. It no longer stores value. It becomes temporary. Tool you pass on as fast as possible. And this is exactly when the zeros begin to grow. When money loses value, you need more of it to buy the same thing. So the numbers get bigger: 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 500,000. Not because people are richer, but because the currency is worth less. (1986). Everything begins to change. Vietnam launches economic reforms. Markets open, businesses grow, inflation slows down, and slowly stability returns. So why not just remove the zeros? Because changing a currency isn't just technical. It's psychological. It affects trust, prices, the entire system. And when things are finally stable, you don't want to risk breaking them again. Vietnam isn't alone. Japan, Korea, Indonesia, all use large numbers. because zeros don't define value. Stability does. So why does Vietnamese money have so many zeros? Because of 1945, because of decades of war, because of the inflation crisis of the 1980s, and because of a country that had to rebuild from scratch. Those zeros aren't just numbers. They are history, printed into every single banknote. Subscribe for more stories where simple things hide complex histories.